Welcome, welcome. Well, it's October again, the only month I can walk out in public dressed like this. And for today's video, I'm going to check out one of the most influential horror films ever made, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a 1974 American independent horror film produced, co-composed, and directed by Tobe Hooper, who co-wrote it with Kim Henkel, and it was deemed as one of the first slasher films of its kind. The film was marketed as being based on true events to attract a wider audience and to act as subtle commentary on the era's political climate, but I'll go more into that later. And as for the real life stuff, well, the character Leatherface and some minor story details were inspired by crimes of the murderer Ed Gein, but overall its plot is fictional. So with all that out of the way, let's check it out. So the film begins with a title crawl telling us what we are about to see is some hardcore shit.
The events of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chain Saw Massacre.
He said it! He said it!
Oh, and the title crawl is read by John Larroquette, who supposedly did it for a marijuana joint. And not gonna lie, Willie Nelson would be proud. So the film begins with the iconic sound effect of the series, followed by flashes as we see the remains of a corpse. Then we see that someone has tied a rotting corpse and other body parts onto a monument at a cemetery near New Muerto County in Texas, creating a grisly yet striking display as the sun rises.
Nasty.
Then we are introduced to our characters, Sally, played by Marilyn Burns, and her paraplegic brother, Franklin, played by Paul A. Partain, Jerry, played by Alan Danziger, Kirk, played by William Vale, and Pam, played by Terry McMinn, who is one of those astrology girls.
When malefic planets are in retrograde and Saturn's malefic, okay, their malefices increase.
Oh fuck me, even in the 70s they were a pain in the ass. Anyways, they make a pit stop as Franklin takes a piss in a can, and this happens.
Oh God, my legs!
Anyways, they visit the grave of Sally and Franklin's grandfather to investigate reports of vandalism and grave robbing, and it appears to be undisturbed. Oh, and we get a drunk guy here who gives us a foreboding monologue.
I see things. You laugh at an old man. There's them that laughs and knows better.
Words of wisdom, Lloyd. Words of wisdom.
Anyways, as the group drives past a slaughterhouse, Franklin recounts how his family have a history with animal slaughter.
Men start squealing and freaking out and everything, and then have to come up and bash you 2 or 3 times.
A huge steaming ball of foreshadowing.
They soon pick up a hitchhiker played by Edwin Neal, who talks about his family who worked at the old slaughterhouse. He borrows Franklin's pocket knife, which he cuts himself on, and then takes a single Polaroid picture of the group for which he demands money. When they refuse to pay, he burns the photo and attacks Franklin with a straight razor. The group kick his ass out of the van, and he smears blood on the side as they drive off. And after that shit, they stop at a gas station whose proprietor slash cook, played by Jim Sleedow, says there's no fuel available, but they do have meat. Then the group explore a nearby abandoned house originally owned by Sally and Franklin's grandfather.
Nasty.
Meanwhile, Franklin is left behind hating like a motherfucker.
Come on, Franklin. It's gonna be a fun trip.
What an asshole!
Oh, and if he's annoying you, you're not alone. The cast avoided Paul Pertain as he stayed in character the whole time, because he claimed if he took him off, he couldn't get back into the character again.
If I have any more fun today, I don't think I'm gonna be able to take it.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
Anyways, Kirk and Pam leave the others behind, planning to visit a nearby watering hole, only to find jack shit. Then they discover another house surrounded by rundown cars and run by gas-powered generators. They head there hoping to barter for gas. Oh, and he gives Pam a present.
Got something for you.
What, that tooth's a lot in tooth fairy money, bitch. Then Kirk enters the house through the unlocked door while Pam waits outside. As he searches the house, this happens. Meanwhile, Pam calls for Kirk with no response, so she gets up and enters the house, where she then stumbles into a room sown with decaying remains and furniture made from human and animal bones. And by the way, these remains are from real animal bones that the production designer slash art director Robert Burns got from local farms, and the room smelled horrible. As you can see, Terry McMinn is actually gagging in this scene.
That's disgusting.
Anyways, Pam leaves and runs into Leatherface and books it. Then Leatherface takes her to the kitchen and impales her on a meat hook. Yeah, Leatherface was the OG Day-by-Daylight killer. Then Leatherface starts up a chainsaw and dismembers Kirk as Pam watches in agony. Okay, to be fair, she's an astrology girl, so Leatherface is doing us a favor here. Later that evening, Jerry searches for Pam and Kirk, and he enters the same old house that Pam and Kirk entered, where he finds the kitchen and more. Damn, it looks like Jerry bit the dust. Oh, and we get a moment here with Leatherface, played by Gunnar Henson.
Truly captivating words.
Back at the other house, Sally and Franklin set out to find their friend since Jerry has the keys. En route, they holler for Jerry, and Franklin hears something.
Sally, I hear something. Stop. Stop.
Stay back, I got a chainsaw.
So yeah, Sally fucking books it as Leatherface carves Franklin a new one, and he chases after her into the house, where she finds a pair of rotting corpses. She escapes from Leatherface by jumping through the second floor window and flees to the gas station. With Leatherface in pursuit, Sally arrives at the gas station when he seems to have disappeared for some reason. The station's proprietor slash cook comforts Sally by offering his help.
Acting on a tip from Clyde Peewits of Newt, the Muerto County Sheriff's Office put a dozen coffins robbed of all or part of their contents.
That's fucking sus.
After which he beats her with a broom and knocks her out, and takes her to his pickup truck. The cook then drives to the old house, and the hitchhiker appears. The cook scolds him for his actions at the cemetery, as he was the grave robber responsible for the corpses from earlier. And as they enter the house, Leatherface appears. And it turns out that they are all brothers, with the cook being the oldest and Leatherface being the youngest. Anyways, Sally's tied up to a chair, and the two brothers bring down the old man, Grandpa, down the stairs, and they cut Sally's finger so that Grandpa can suck her blood, causing Sally to faint. And by the way, Marilyn Burns did get her finger cut for real in this scene. Oh, and Grandpa here is played by a 19-year-old John Dugan under a lot of makeup done by Dr. W.E. Burns, who was a plastic surgeon. The next morning, Sally regains consciousness, and the men taunt her as she screams in agony.
You can make him stop. No, you can't.
Oh, and here's another fun fact. This dinner scene was a nightmare to film as they shot over 24 hours, but others say it was more than that. Moreover, it was filmed in July in Texas, so it was hot as fuck in that room, reaching around 120 degrees, causing the cast and crew to get sick. Anyways, Sally begs for mercy, but to no avail as they just take pleasure in her suffering.
Shit just went from 0 to 100 real fucking quick.
God damn, this is one horrible dinner. I should have saved this for Thanksgiving. Then the cook tells the others to kill her with a hammer, and the hitchhiker gets the bright idea to get their grandpa to do it, as he is the OG killer. So they give him the hammer, but grandpa's too weak for that shit, so Leatherface helps him out. Luckily, Sally breaks free and runs through a window, and she limps her way out of there. And she is then pursued by the hitchhiker and Leatherface. The hitchhiker catches up to her as he slashes her until an oncoming truck coon appears and runs his ass over. The truck driver gets out to help and runs back into the truck when Leatherface shows up. Oh, in case you're wondering why the hell don't they just drive away? That's because semi-trucks take a while to start up. So the truck driver throws a wrench at Leatherface, causing him to fall and injure himself. Sally then flags down a passing pickup truck and climbs into the back, and they just leave the truck driver as he's running on his own. Anyway, Sally narrowly escapes Leatherface. She laughs hysterically, finally escaping this nightmare of hers, while an enraged Leatherface swings his chainsaw like a madman. And that was Texas Chain Saw Massacre. The film receives mixed reception from critics, but over the years it has been praised and it was a huge success. It has since gained a reputation as one of the best and most influential horror films ever made. It is credited with originating several elements common in the slasher genre, including the use of power tools as murder weapons and the characterization of the killer as a large, bulking, masked figure. It led to a franchise continuing the story of Leatherface and his family, known as the Sawyer family, through sequels, prequels, and a remake, comic books, and video games. The film also was banned in the UK, Brazil, Chile, Finland, France, Iceland, Ireland, Norway, Singapore, Sweden, and West Germany. Like I mentioned before, it was very influential with many filmmakers like Wes Craven, who praised it, saying it was so horrifying it sticks to you even after it ends. And he even crafted his film, The Hills Have Eyes, after the Texas Chain Saw Massacre. Ridley Scott cited it as his inspiration for Alien. French filmmaker André Aja credited for his early work, and it influenced Rob Zombie for his films. Stephen King called it the most horrifying motion picture he has ever seen. Guillermo del Toro called it the ultimate horror movie, and it made him a vegetarian as a result. And Quentin Tarantino called it one of the few perfect movies ever made. And to be honest, I couldn't agree more. The Texas Chain Saw Massacre definitely deserves all the praise it has gained over the years. This is my first time ever seeing the film, and I was quite surprised. For instance, how simple it is, whereas the later sequels get like crazy as hell. One of my biggest surprises is that it's not as gory as people suspect or its reputation has gained. I'm mostly familiar with the sequels, which go batshit insane, but here it doesn't go very over the top. And it's also very disturbing with the ways Leatherface kills his victims, similar to how animals were slaughtered in the past. Also has a very creepy atmosphere, with the production design giving it a very gritty and eerie feeling. Also, the cinematography is amazing in this one, giving us that hot feeling that you're in Texas. Also, the characters were pretty decent, as they're very simple characters and you can pretty much understand who they are from the get-go. One of the things that also surprised me is the murderer Leatherface, as in here he is actually a more sympathetic character in a way, as even though he is the slasher in this film, he's not really doing it on his own whims. He's also not the mastermind in this one. Instead, he's more of a henchman his brother takes advantage of. Not to mention Edwin Neal's portrayal of the hitchhiker is also very eerie, as you're uncomfortable with his presence and you never know what he's gonna do next. Also, the film has a lot of surprising commentary. For instance, in the beginning it says that it's based on a real life event. Yeah, that part was made for advertising, as Toby Hooper made it as a statement on how the US lied about the Vietnam War. Also, the film criticizes technology, as the book on put the hitchhiker and his family out of business, as their previous way of killing animals was gruesome and inhumane.
How come? I thought the gun was better.
Oh, no. New way people put out a job.
So overall, I do consider the Texas Chainsaw Massacre as one of the greatest horror films ever made, and definitely deserve a watch. So I'll give it 5 out of 5 chainsaws. And that was the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos just like this. Oh, and if you like my work, support the channel at Ko-Fi. There you can support me with as little as $1 a month, and you can drop suggestions for any future videos you want me to check out, and you get to have your names in the credits. And if you do support me, I thank you very much, and I appreciate it very much. Again, don't forget to leave a like and comment something vaguely related to the topic, because it helps me out in this YouTube landscape. So again, stay safe out there, and goodbye.
Rum, 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 rum.